Hello. What up, Claytriots? I am back. I have to do a quick setup thing because for some reason my chat stopped working. So let me just see if I repaste this. Okay. Okay, it's still saying something went wrong. I don't know how chat's gonna work today. If anybody tries chatting with me, I'm hoping it'll pop up. If it doesn't, then yeah, I don't really know what's going wrong with that. Let me just make sure that there's no problems because I feel like YouTube was having some problems for me earlier today too. So let me just make sure that I am live. Technical shit. Okay. Looks like I'm live from what I can tell. Let me just make sure that, oh, there I am. Yeah. I do see the chat over here. So maybe I'll just keep the chat window up down there just so that I can, you know, be sure if somebody does chat. Okay, well, welcome. So, people may or may not realize, but my audio is a little bit different today. That's right. I found an old microphone that my wife used to have. She's no longer using it, so I dusted it off, plugged it in, and I think it's working okay. I'm also just wearing like AirPods now, so I don't have the big ass headset on, but I think the audio sounded pretty good when I tested it out earlier. So, and I also put some filters to hopefully get all of the trash noise nobody wants to hear about out of there, so that all you can listen to is my beautiful voice. um okay, so personal news since the last time you saw me. Oh, what happened? um I played a lot of video games yesterday. Oh, I went and canvassed for Cory Bush, and then I came back home and I ate some Chinese food. And this place nearby, it has some bao buns, like stuff that is like they are so good. They're like fresh, like made fresh. So I had like uh I had red bean paste one. That was really good. And then I just played video games the rest of the day. I started playing the original Slay the Spire again since the new one came out, but I haven't bought the new one yet. I'm considering doing that though. Let's see. Went to sleep, woke up, worked. I worked out today, did chest day. It went pretty good. I think I overate yesterday, so I probably had some extra some extra energy to burn. I keep myself pretty lean generally, so sometimes I feel like it's it's tough to get through the workouts sometimes, but when on days like after I've eaten a lot, like I usually am like, okay, I could keep going for another hour. But yeah. So then I made some like spinach noodle dish for me and my wife for dinner. Oh, and my cat got her stitches out today as well. So I guess a lot of shit has happened. Yeah. She got her stitches out from her first surgery. She's potentially going to have another 2 surgeries to go to remove any chances of breast cancer. So, we're getting some tests done in about a week, and we're hoping it hasn't spread or anything. And if it hasn't spread, then I think we'll be good. She just has to have a double mastectomy, which, as far as I'm aware, is 2 separate surgeries. So anyway, other than all of that, which is a lot, I do agree. I admit that is a lot of personal news. But now we are about to get into the news. And today I will be drinking a neon blue, totally naturally colored Fitz's Rocket Pop flavored drink. I don't know if this will be good or not. My wife has ADHD and she saw it and wanted it. So that's how it goes sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and get started with the news, the things people actually want to see. So I figured I'd start with this one. This is pretty recently. It aired 3 hours ago, but I feel like it's rare that we actually get to see. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my pillow. I feel like it's rare that we ever actually get to see our politicians go on Al Jazeera, to be honest. Like I rarely ever see them go on. So, and I know that most Americans don't even watch Al Jazeera. I think Al Jazeera is straight up banned in Israel, so they're probably not going to be able to watch this either. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to watch it because I would guess that maybe less people are going to see it, and hopefully it'll be some unique stuff that you can get when you tune in to Technically Clay. So I'm just going to go ahead and let her rip. This is exclusive. Marco Rubio tells Al Jazeera U.S. war objectives in Iran will be achieved within weeks. Ooh, okay. Al Jazeera English. Let's go.
Rubio, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera. You're speaking to a global audience across Al Jazeera English, Al Jazeera Arabic, and our digital platforms, reaching viewers across the Middle East, including Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and Iran, as well as millions more around the world. Let me start by asking you this. Have formal talks begun with Iran, or are they still in direct communications, exploring common ground?
Well, there's messages and some direct talks going on between some inside of Iran and the United States, primarily through intermediaries, but there's been some conversation. And I think the president always prefers diplomacy, always prefers an outcome. And we could have done this before. I mean, imagine...
I'm not so sure, because Iran offered you literally everything the United States could have ever wanted, like packaged up with a nice pretty little bow put on it, and they offered it to you, and you essentially smacked it out of their hands and spit in their face and said, no, we're going to war with you anyway. So you got to forgive me. I have a hard time believing that you didn't actually want to go to war here.
An Iranian regime who, instead of spending billions of dollars supporting terrorist groups and building up all these weapons, had invested that money into Iran, for the people of Iran, so they wouldn't have water shortages, so their economies would provide opportunities for an incredible people. The people of Iran are incredible people, very resourceful, very entrepreneurial, but it's their regime that's been a problem.
See, this is the problem, though, is we see the North Korea model. The North Korea model exists. It shows what you have to do if you want to have full sovereignty, is you need to race to a nuke as soon as possible. You need as much deterrence as possible to make it as painful as possible for the United States if they ever decide to fuck with you. And that's what Iran did. They didn't race for a nuke, but they raced for as much like ballistic missile and drone capabilities internally produced so that they would be able to, you know, continue even if they were militarily like embargoed or whatever, right? Like they set up their entire economy because they knew that America was going to do this one day. Whether Iran created the ballistic missiles or the drone program or not, America was going to do this one day. America was going to fuck with them one day, because that's just, honestly, that's just what America does. Any country that tries to have sovereignty, America will come in and fuck with you until you give up your sovereignty. We're seeing that in Cuba. We saw it in Venezuela. We see it all over the place, and that's just how America operates. So their whole goal was to create enough of a deterrence to be like, if you want to come and fuck with us, then your people, the entire world, is going to pay a huge price. So that's why they did it. And saying that it would have been different if they invested that money into their economy or whatever is completely ridiculous, because America would have invaded them like 20 or 30 years ago if they did that, if they didn't build up as much deterrence if they had. There's a reason that every president before Trump decided not to do this, and Trump was the first one who actually decided to do it, right? It's because, you know, their strategy generally kind of worked for the past 30, 40 years.
And instead, they've chosen to spend the wealth of their country to support Hezbollah and Hamas and Shia militias inside of Iraq, and to try to destabilize Syria when Assad was there, and all over the world to sponsor terrorist plots and build these drones and build these weapons to threaten their neighbors unnecessarily. So we would always welcome a scenario in which Iran was led by people that had a different view of the future and had a different view. And if that opportunity presents itself, we're going to take it.
What are your main demands for Iran at this particular stage of the war?
Iran can never, the Iranian regime can never have nuclear weapons, and they need to stop sponsoring terrorism. and they need to stop building weapons that can threaten their neighbors. These short-range missiles that they're launching, they only have
They're
one.
not allowed. Yes, they're not allowed to have any weapon, any speck of gunpowder. They're not even allowed to have guns. So they can't have anything. That's this is just, you're just giving up your sovereignty at that point, which they're never going to do.
Purpose, and that is to attack Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Qatar and Kuwait and Bahrain. That is the range of these weapons. And they have thousands of them. They've built extraordinary numbers of them,
Hundreds of
and not to
thousands.
mention, you know, their desire to have this nuclear weapon to threaten and blackmail the world with. That will never be allowed to happen. It's too great a risk.
What would you consider to be the
They don't have a nuclear weapon. I don't even think they're currently on the path to it, although maybe they are now because we did all this shit. But they don't have a nuclear weapon. It's not going to happen. And if anyone's going to use a nuclear weapon, it's going to be fucking Israel.
the minimum concession from Tehran to bring this conflict to an end?
I think they have to take demonstrable steps towards ending any ambition of having nuclear weapons. If what they want is nuclear energy, there are
Jesus
multiple
Christ.
countries in the region that have or will soon have nuclear energy, and they're going to do it through a well-established
Gotta
mechanism.
ask, what could they have done, right? What could they have done to show that they didn't want a nuclear weapon? Because they tried literally everything. They tried everything they possibly could to demonstrate that they didn't want a nuclear weapon. And you intentionally chose to not believe them because you wanted to go to war with them for some reason. And that was the easiest reason you could think of.
That everyone else has agreed to, and that is that you allow imported fuel you import the fuel, and that fuel is used to power up your power grid and provide energy resources for your people. What they cannot have is a system that allows them to quickly weaponize it. They have to stop making all of these drones and all of these missiles. We saw recently where they've lied. They said they didn't have long-range missiles, and then they fired two that extended well beyond the range of what their own foreign minister just a few days earlier said they didn't have the range to reach. So they have to abandon all these weapon programs and all of their nuclear ambitions.
My question to you is, what the fuck are you going to do about it, Marco Rubio? Seriously, what is America going to do about it? The only way to make this happen is to occupy Iran indefinitely in the same sort of Afghanistan style model that we did over there. If we occupy them indefinitely, then sure, we can destroy all those drones or whatever, and they can be a complete, they can have a puppet government that runs while we're there. As soon as we leave, though, the IRGC will just take over and start building them again. So it's okay, go for it. Go for it,
And if
Marco.
they do that, then Iran's future can be bright. But they have to choose that path, and for 47 years they've refused that path.
Iran said it rejects the US demands and is setting its own conditions, such as the financial compensation and also recognition of its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Are those demands acceptable from an American perspective?
Not only is the sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz not acceptable to us, it won't be acceptable to the world. No one in the world can accept it. Number one, it sets an incredible precedent. So this means that nations can now take over international waterways and claim them as their own. The United States could do that now.
If you fuck with them enough, sure. If they have enough deterrence and power to do so, I guess so. That's the world they want to live in. That's the world they've created in the post-Gaza international world order, where might makes right. If Iran can do it, then sure, under the new rules that you've created, then yes, they get to do that.
The Chinese could do it in the South China Sea. No one in the world is going to accept that or should accept that.
Those are the rules you
created.
created.
Let me be frank, very little of American energy comes through the Straits of Hormuz in terms of the energy we rely on, but we recognize the impact that it has on global markets and on our neighbors, especially our allies in the region who produce energy and have to get it out to market. So no country in the world should accept it. The regional countries in the world should accept it. The United States will not accept that condition. It's an illegal condition that they're demanding. That's just not going to happen.
Oh yeah, international law.
Israeli campaign,
yeah, you care a lot about international law now. All of a sudden, Marco Rubio
continues. There's no clear indication that the Strait of Hormuz is secure enough to restart the flow of oil and gas into global markets. Are you consider a plan to ensure full control over the entire strait?
Well, the Straits of Hormuz will be open. When this operation is over, it will be open, and it'll be open one way or another. It will be open because Iran agrees to abide by international law and not block the commercial waterway, or a coalition of nations from around the world and the region, with the participation of the United States, will make sure that it's open. One way or the other, it's going to be open. But we have
how? I keep asking how. Like, what are you going to do? They will, the moment you start escorting ships, they will start just blowing the shit out of your ships. Your ships will all sink to the bottom of the ocean. All of these countries that are going to go in there in a multinational coalition or whatever, every single one of their ships will be sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Like, how are you going to do this? I don't understand.
Very clear objectives
still don't get
that we're trying to achieve here. Those objectives are the destruction of their Air Force, which has been achieved, the destruction of their Navy, which has largely been achieved, a significant reduction in the number of missile launchers that they have, which we're well on our way to achieving, and we are going to destroy the factories that make those missiles and those drones that they are using to attack their neighbors and the United States and our presence in the region. We will achieve those objectives. We are well on our way, or ahead of schedule. We will achieve them in weeks, not months. And then we'll be confronted with this issue of the Straits of Hormuz, and it'll be up to Iran to decide.
Oh, I forgot to say, congrats everybody. We made it through another week of no boots on the ground in Iran. That means we got until Friday when the markets close, everybody.
And if they choose to try to block the Straits, then they will have to face real consequences, not just from the United States, but from regional countries and from the world.
Your regional allies in the region, the
allies.
Critical energy installations are being bombed. The
missile
cities
sponges
bombed
is what I call them.
almost on a daily basis. And they're looking for a clear path back to stability. What would be your message to them?
Well, I think the best way to stability, given the people who are in charge in Iran, is to destroy the ability of Iran in the future to launch these missiles and these drones against their infrastructure and civilian populations. If you think about what they've struck in the region, what has Iran gone after? It's been energy infrastructure against countries that were not waging war against them, but yet they went after these countries nonetheless. This is why they built these missiles and drones in the first place. But they've also attacked embassies, diplomatic facilities, which is unheard of. They've attacked airports, which is unheard of. This is what they've done. And this is a weakened Iran. This is an Iran that's weaker than it's been in 10 years. Imagine 5 years from now or 3 years from now, when they had more missiles, more drones, what they would have been willing to do to their neighbors and to us. That was intolerable. That's why this needed to be done now. The United States is committed to finishing the job. We're working very closely with all of our allies, work very closely in defensive. Yes, unfortunately, drones and missiles get through from time to time, but the overwhelming majority of these launches are defeated. They're shot down before they reach their intended target, or the destruction would be far worse. These are strong, stable countries in the region.
For now, for now, they're getting shot down. The estimates are that interceptors are going to start getting real low pretty soon, is what I've read from various articles. At which point all of the interceptors are going to be going to Israel. They're not going to be going to these Gulf states. So they might start getting hit a lot harder pretty soon.
These are our allies. These are our friends. And we are going to continue to be there and support them as they face this onslaught. And by the way, they're not the ones, Iran is targeting them in retribution, which tells you the nature of the people we're dealing with, unfortunately.
But it seems that the Strait of Hormuz is not going to be the only focal point for you, because with the Houthis stepping in and firing missiles into Israel, Bab el-Mandeb and the Red Sea could become issues that you will have to reconsider.
It could, and look, that's been an ongoing issue. And when they did that, the United States took action against it as well, and many of our regional allies have had to do.
How did that go, by the way? Anybody remember, how did that go? I seem to remember the United States saying, fuck it, we're going to make an agreement with the Houthis where our ships can our ships are just going to leave, our warships are just going to leave and our ships can go through, but the Israel ones can't, or something. If I remember correctly, that was kind of how that ended up. So and they were just fuck it with the rest of the world's ships. So yeah, I don't think we couldn't do it back then. I don't know why we'd be able to do it now.
Do so in the past. It's the desire, whether it's the Houthis on one side or Iran on the other, to close these international waterways and create a toll road where basically you have to ask for their permission in order to use them and get your products in or out of market. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to us, but it should be unacceptable to the world. And I think it's important, and I'm glad to see the effort Bahrain is leading in the United Nations, which we've been very supportive of, to get an international coalition that says we will not accept a world and where either the Iranians on one side or the Houthis on the other get to control international waterways and impede the free flow of goods from nation states.
There's nothing you can do.
That's just not something we're going to accept, neither should the world.
Do you have any issues with Mujtaba Khamenei staying in power once this is over and the IRGC continuing to play the crucial role it plays now?
Well, let me say, first of all, we don't even know if he's in power. I know they say he's in power. No one has seen him. No one has heard from him. It's very opaque right now. It's not quite clear how decisions are being made inside of Iran. But our objectives here from the very beginning had nothing to do with the leadership. But would we love to see a difference? Do we think the people of Iran deserve better leadership than what they've gotten from the clerical regime? 100%. Would we be heartbroken if there was a change in leadership? Absolutely not. If there's something we could do to facilitate that, would we be interested in participating? Of course. But that was not the objective of this operation. The objective of this operation was which I outlined now and the president outlined clearly on the first night.
I seem to remember regime change. The words regime change were uttered quite a lot at the beginning of this. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm pretty sure that Trump and you potentially also mentioned the word regime change like so much at the beginning until it became obvious that it just wasn't going to happen, which, I mean, anybody with half a brain could have told you that, which is why you shouldn't have said it. But
is the destruction of their Air Force, which we've achieved, the destruction of their Navy, which we've largely achieved, the destruction of their factories, which we are well on our way to achieving, meaning factories that make these weapons, and significantly reducing the number of missile launchers that they have so they can't continue to threaten their neighbors and America. Those were our objectives. That's what we're focused on, and that's what we are well on our way towards achieving.
Are you fully aligned with the Israelis when it comes to the objectives and the end game?
Well, they have a different objective in terms of they are focused on the mid-range missiles in the northern part of Iran that target them. And obviously we coordinate and deconflict with them in terms of our operations. But what they are focused on is different. We're not critical of it. Those things are threats to them. Those mid-range missiles that Iran launches that reach into Israel, those are threats that they're facing. They're also facing a threat from Hezbollah, which they're confronting as well. So they have their own objectives. We deconflict so that our objective...
Confronting, aka getting all their Markava tanks like thrown into the incinerator.
and theirs don't run into each other. But the president has, for the United States of America, has established a very clear mission, which we're executing on, and we will achieve our objectives in a matter of weeks.
Do you believe the EU and NATO countries betrayed the US at this crucial moment?
I think it was very disappointing. You have this, and again, look, the president and our country will have to re-examine all of this after this operation is over.
Do something about it then.
But one of the reasons why NATO is beneficial to the United States is it gives us basing rights for contingencies. It allows us to station troops and...
Yeah, see, exactly. And this is why you're not going to do shit about NATO. This is why you are not going to leave NATO. As much as I want you to do that, this is why you're not going to do it, because it is a mutually beneficial agreement to United States empire. And so, and especially to the capitalist class that requires the United States empire in order to make their super mega profits or whatever. So you are not going to do shit. Trump isn't going to do shit. He's just going to whine like a little bitch about NATO. While continuing to do everything that every other president ever has always done to continue to prop it up and support it.
Aircraft and weapons and in parts of the world that we would normally have bases. And that includes in much of Europe. And to see that in a time of need, the United States has identified a grave risk to our national security and our national interests, and we needed to conduct this operation. And we have countries like Spain, a NATO member, that we are pledged to defend, denying us the use of their airspace and bragging about it, denying us the use of their bases. And there are other...
Well, you've also been straight up just fucking with the EU for the past year and a half or whatever since Trump was elected. You've essentially just been fucking with them, like slapping them in the face over and over and sticking your finger up their butt. Like that's basically all you've been doing to the EU for the past year and a half. And then you're like, oh, but I really need your help right now, guys. It's like, well, yeah, no, fuck you. I'm not that's how I would feel.
Countries that have done that as well. And so you ask yourself, well, what is in it for the United States? And I've been a big supporter of NATO. And one of the reasons why I've been a supporter of NATO is because I believe that these basing rights give us leverage and give us flexibility and operational capability all over the world. But if NATO is just about us defending Europe, if
that's exactly why I don't like it.
They're attacked, but them denying us basing rights when we need them, that's not a very good arrangement. That's a hard one to stay engaged in and say this is good for the United States. So all of them's going to have to be re-examined. All of it's going to have to be re-examined.
I've recently spent some time.
Get rid of it. No, they won't do it. Don't worry, everybody. Don't worry, liberals. If you're watching this, liberals and neocons everywhere, you can breathe a sigh of relief. I technically, Clay, give you permission to breathe a sigh of relief, because it is never going to happen.
Time in Europe, and basically what they say is that it's the US which is sending confusing messages to us. It's the US which is planning to disengage from Europe. It's the US which doesn't seem to be really willing to team up with NATO when it comes to moving forward in Europe, and this explains the reason why we have been very cautious dealing with the Americans when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz in particular.
Well, if that's what someone in Europe told you, that person's very disingenuous, because the United States has tens of thousands of troops stationed throughout that region, billions of dollars of weaponry staged throughout Europe. Yeah. All of it there to defend Europe, not to defend America, to defend Europe from attack. Okay, all over. The United States is without the United States.
See, I also think from their perspective, they really need to start thinking about this a little bit more, because if the United States gets into a hot conflict with Russia or a hot conflict with China, all of those bases that are in nearby countries, like inside of Europe or inside of Japan or Taiwan or whatever, right? All of those bases are going to become valid military targets for them to hit. And they will have a lot more, like even more capabilities than Iran has. So just something for my European NATO members to think about if they really want to have all of those missile sponges that we so lovingly placed all over your country.
There is no NATO. I mean, everyone recognizes that, including NATO. If we decided tomorrow that we were going to remove our troops from Europe, that would be the end of NATO. So they know that. And that commitment, we haven't moved troops out of NATO. So anyone who said that's not being honest or is not, I think they're playing games. At the end of the day, it's very simple. NATO is an alliance, and an alliance means it has to be mutually beneficial. It cannot be a one-way street. Let's hope we can fix it. We'll have time to address it after. Right now, we're focused on this operation.
Let's move on to something else. I would like to talk to you about Venezuela after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. Could you tell us more about your plans for Venezuela in the future?
I think it's moving along very well. We said it from the very first day after that operation happened. I said our hope is, number one, to stabilize the country. We didn't want to see civil war. We didn't want to see systemic collapse. We didn't want to see a mass migration event. You've seen none of these things. What you've seen is that for the first time in decades, Venezuela is now selling their oil in the global market at full market price, and the money is coming back to Venezuela and being spent for the benefit of the Venezuelan people.
I mean, that might be, I don't really know what changed, to be honest, when it comes to the oil situation in Venezuela. My understanding was that like they were going to have a bunch of American capitalists go sit over the top of the companies like they did before the revolution. And just skim money off the top was like kind of what I thought the whole deal was, but I don't know if that's how he would frame it.
It's being spent to buy medical goods and equipment. It's being spent to cover the salaries of teachers and police officers and civil servants and people that sanitation workers and things of this nature. So it's a very important part. The second phase, after the stabilization occurs, or concurrent with the stabilization, is a period of recovery in which you try to recover the elements of the country that allow it to prosper and grow, and that is
that's where all the vulture capitalists come in and start, I don't know. This is what happens usually when you end up giving up your sovereignty to America, is that the American like pedophile class of like the Epstein elites or whatever, they come in, they swoop in, and they buy stakes or valuations in a whole bunch of different companies and industries or whatever, essentially taking them over to start skimming super profits off of the top, where those industries or whatever previously would have been like nationalized, right? Where the government decides how to distribute the profits from those industries. So that's like what usually happens. And it usually ends up leading to the general immiseration of the people who live there over time. Like there might be a short-term boost in quality of life from America not fucking with you as much, but then inevitably over time you just start, all of your profits just start getting siphoned into the pockets of our, billionaire pedophiles here in America. And then comes another revolution, which then renationalizes it. So, it's like Dante's circles of hell or whatever. I don't know, where we just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
attracting businesses back, creating the kind of stability that bring businesses back. We're seeing that begin to happen. But you're also seeing civil life come back to life. Independent media is now.
I don't really care that much about this stuff, to be honest. Him just like, I don't know, just straight up lying about what's going to happen for Venezuela. Yeah, it won't be good, but who knows? Maybe America will collapse by then, and Venezuela can quickly renationalize their natural resources. But okay, let's see. Let's go on to this one. Another Al Jazeera.
I'm going to start with.
Okay. So I did kind of want to briefly go over this. This is a short video. By the way, this Rocket Pop drink, I didn't like it at first, but it's actually grown on me quite a lot as I've drank it through the stream. So, but anyway, that's not related to news. Come on, man. Okay, so this is a news report from Al Jazeera. So I know that Iran recently attacked a nuclear installation in Israel. So this video should be related to that. Maybe some of the effects of that. So this is from 1 day ago. Suspicion of hazardous leak after Iranian attack in Israel's Be'er-Sheva area. So let's see if there is like a leak, a nuclear leak or not. I don't know. Israel, I'm sure if it happened, would not let any press know at all. So let's see what they have to say.
Day, who's in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. So, Noor, this afternoon, there have been multiple missile attacks specifically on Beersheba in central Israel. Tell us about what just happened.
Well, there have been 9 or 10 now volleys since midnight, Cyril, and really, yes, the focus has been the Negev area, Beersheba being at the heart of those targets. And just in the past 20 minutes or so, we've received...
Oh, it says a chemical plant. So I thought it was a nuclear plant, but so I guess maybe it's just a chemical plant, which is still bad if, you know, if it leaks or whatever, but it's slightly different than what I thought.
Reports of at least one direct impact on a building in that city because of an Iranian missiles. It seems that it's one of those missiles with a cluster warhead, which means that it splinters into very many smaller missiles, and it has a big radius of up to 10 kilometers. And so the first responders are looking at 10 different sites where there might have been impacts. Of course, we'll update you with that. We do not have any information if anybody was injured, but certainly southern Israel has taken the brunt of Iranian missiles today and have really stayed or went to the bomb shelters for much of the day.
So southern
Israeli officials warn residents near chemical plant to remain indoors due to fears of hazardous leaks. So, if that's the case, then there might be an actual leak that
Israel,
happened.
not central Israel, my bad. There's been an attack on a chemical plant, and I think that's what we're seeing right now, the live feed of that in Beersheba. What happened there?
Well, that one is still an ongoing story. It's that chemical plant is part of an industrial zone, Cyril. It is home to 19 different factories, including one for bromine, but that plant or that industrial zone is also home to the main hazardous waste disposal facility in Israel. So it's a very high stake, very strategic kind of location. And the fact that the military censor immediately disclosed the information about the impact has to do with the fact that it could pose a public health hazard.
Yeah, because they would have hid that shit. They definitely would have hid that shit if there wasn't like an actual... Like, I will almost, I mean, maybe there's more reporting on it at this point, but I will almost guarantee you that that there was a leak here, if I had to guess, just because they felt forced to tell people who live nearby or whatever to go, like, move further away or whatever.
We've seen specialized crews head to the area. We've seen even the firefighters wearing masks, taking precautions. They've been telling the residents of the area to keep their windows closed if they do not leave the area. The main highway connecting central Israel with southern Israel with Beersheba has been closed in order to prevent a lot of traffic heading to that area. There's still no announcement whether there is a leak of hazardous material, but certainly the fumes from the fire seems to worry authorities in that area, and hence all of those precautions and instructions.
Okay. Well, that was a little short video, but yeah, I wanted to see about that. So for some reason, I was thinking it's a nuclear leak. Let me see if there's any new information. Cereal factory leak. Okay. I see one thing that says ministry says hazardous materials leak has been ruled out. So maybe they're saying that it wasn't, but who knows? Who knows with Israel? Okay, let's go ahead and go to another thing that happened over the weekend, which I already did some videos. Let's see here. I already did some videos on CPAC. Some of the more fun clips of like the people speaking and stuff. I did Nick Shirley, Steve Bannon, and the Shah's son himself. So if you want to check those out, those are on my YouTube channel. But sorry, man, my cough is bad today. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch this video. I saw a lot of people posting about this, or not really posting, but like a lot of you know, the classic like lib channels are like MS Now, like Brian Tyler Cohen, like David A. Pacman, you know, like all the classic like hyperlibs got really excited about this one, which is kind of why I wanted to go over it to kind of give my thoughts here. But we'll watch it before I prejudge all of these people. Maybe they're right to be so excited about this, but I have a feeling that this is kind of a nothing burger, but let's see.
The annual conservative political conference known as CPAC is currently underway in Texas, and it's going to be rocking all weekend long, everyone. Get excited. Now, if you're not familiar with CPAC, it is one of the largest and most influential right-wing conferences in the country. And it's typically a pretty good indicator of the current direction of the Republican Party and the broader American conservative movement in the moment.
Is that Milo? I don't know who that guy is.
Direction of the Republican Party and the broader American conservative movement in the moment. Which means that these days it's basically a 4-day-long MAGA rager filled with long-winded dear leader-like speeches praising Donald Trump and discussions about the right's latest culture war issues and targets.
Yeah, it's a place where you will find the worst hair, the worst makeup, the worst sense of style, the tackiest jewelry. Like, if you want to see like just like the quintessential MAGA moms, like here, look right here, like you're gonna see a whole lot of that when you're here.
Now,
it's like a fucking zoo exhibit, man. It's like they need to like put up glass windows, like hosted in a building with all glass windows, so people can peer inside and look at this different fucking species of human that exists, the MAGA species.
Give you a sense of the vibes I'm talking about. Here are the names of just a few of the sessions this year: defeating communism, and we mean it. Don't Sharia my Texas. Who worked on that one? Give them a button. Cigars, Steaks, and Ivermectin, a Maha survival guide. The president will sue you now, how the legacy media was defeated, which literally was immediately, and I love this part, and with zero hint of irony, followed by the censorship industrial complex. Now, the other thing to know about CPAC is that it's kind of like a bizarre right-wing Comic-Con where conservative activists, politicians, and personalities gather together to rub elbows. You can see anyone from top elected Republican politicians to key Trump administration officials, like the #2 guy at the Justice Department, Todd Blanche. Yeah, he was speaking. You can see border czar Tom Homan and right-wing media figures like Steve Bannon. Heck, you can even see.
So those other people don't they have better shit to be doing right now? It's like this is like CPAC is like a nothing. Like it is literally just like a party for the weirdest people, like your weirdest family members or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've got a real job, you should be doing your real job and not going to this thing.
Trump pardoned seditionist and Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio there.
Bannon doesn't have a real job, though, so he should be there.
Liar and disgraced former Border Patrol commander Gregory Bavino, taking a little thumbs up photo together there. The MAGA fever dream that is CPAC, everyone. That is what it is. But I have to say, things do feel a little different this year. Part of that is probably because Donald Trump himself, who hasn't missed CPAC in a decade, isn't planning on attending. He's going to be hunkered down at Mar-a-Lago this weekend instead, which is a little surprising given his...
Well, to be fair, I think he does kind of have a lot on his plate right now. Like, not to give Trump too much credit, but like he does have like multiple wars going on that he has to like, you know, that he has to be making decisions on or whatever. So, yeah, I forgive him for not making an appearance at this CPAC.
CPAC attendance record. And given the fact that he really misses an opportunity to have a room full of his cult followers clap for him. According to MS Now reporter Rosa Flores, Trump's absence is part of the reason why the halls have been emptier. But even setting aside the fact that Trump's not planning on going, the CPAC crowd has been a little, well, off this year. I mean, take a look at what I mean.
Come on, be happy. Be happy, CPAC.
Hell yeah, brother.
I know we kept you up late. How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings?
Yeah.
That was the wrong answer.
Okay. Okay. I already see, I think, what happened here. So, what I think happened here is that he used the classic "I'm trying to get applause" line for the line that he shouldn't have used it for. And these people are so stupid. They start clapping because they hear the intonation. They hear the intonation of, yes, it's time to clap or whatever. And then he immediately scolds them, which is hilarious. Okay, this is kind of funny, actually.
Let me try it again. How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? No. Can someone...
And also, I think they have something in the back of their brain of like, impeachment. That means Biden. They're going to impeach Biden or whatever. And then they like, you know, they forget who's currently president. Like, these people are already, the people, if you're going to CPAC, you are already way disconnected from reality, okay? You're the internal world that you are living through inside of your brain is like, I don't know, like, have you ever seen Tenacious D or whatever when they like have mushrooms, like, and they're like bouncing around from like they see like a stop sign, but they think it's like, I don't know, like a magical tree that's talking to them or whatever. That's kind of like what's going on in the average conservative's brain. So I don't really think I just don't think they were really like paying that much attention to what he was saying.
Bring some coffee out for the CPAC.
I know.
We've got to keep this House majority.
So how he could have saved that, though, is if right after it, if he said, MSDNC is going to have a field day with this one, boys. And then when MSDNC inevitably does have a field day with it, you could be like, well, we knew it was going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. That was just kind of, but like I said, I think that they just heard the intonation and they're just kind of stupid. So they just like started clapping, but whatever.
Yikes. That did not go as Matt Schlatt planned. They got that one wrong by MAGA standards twice. Now, whether that's an under-caffeinated crowd or whatever happened to there, during this year's CPAC, MAGA world is obviously not 100% on the same page on a few issues, and probably none of them are big.
Okay, well, I was kind of thinking that they would be a little bit more annoying about this or read into it a little bit further than they need to. Because, I don't know, I did see like a 8-minute video by Brian Tyler Cohen or whatever, and I was just like, I just think this is probably such a nothing thing. Like, I don't think any of the people in there really wanted to impeach Trump, but it seems like she also isn't like taking it that seriously anyway. So let's hear the rest of their analysis here, and we'll close it out.
Bigger than Trump's war with Iran. One young Trump voter told the Washington Post he ran on no new wars. There's a new war. He ran on making stuff affordable. Stuff's less affordable. I'm less than pleased. That voter even went as far to say, I'm considering not voting in the midterms. I mean, can you blame him? Look, Trump's base is clearly divided right now. The cracks are showing. I mean, just listen to Steve Bannon on the CPAC stage earlier today.
We're in the middle of a war right now, or let me say probably the start of a war. The decision in going forward is obviously the commander-in-chief's, but he's got to have, people have to have his back, and you're only going to do that with full information. You have to be convinced. All this debate goes on, and who's right, who's wrong, what's going to happen. It's a debate that has to happen.
Look, Trump's base is all mixed up right now. MAGA's out of sorts, and honestly, it all seems a little low energy. But while that hot mess unfolds at CPAC across the country in cities and towns in all 50 states, the opposition to Trump and his administration is growing and getting stronger and getting more unified.
Debatable. Some of it's getting more unified. They're probably talking about the No King stuff, but a lot of it is getting more unified, except for a very particular wing of the Democratic Party. The centrist neoliberal establishment, who holds all of the power, unfortunately, is trying their best to divide and destroy the Democratic Party right now, because they would much rather lose to Trump than ever let an actual, progressive left populist win the presidency or whatever. So there are win power in the Democratic Party. So there is an actual, there are people out there who who are trying their hardest to keep the Democratic Party from unifying. But yeah, okay. Well, let's see. We'll go to this one.
We got some more work to do.
This one is another CPAC. So this is related. This is, I guess, breaking. CPAC straw poll reveals which presidential candidate some conservatives favor. So I guess we'll see a little bit more information about which candidates are potentially going to, which candidates we're going to potentially see rise to the top of the next presidential election, assuming we have one. So let's see what they have to say. This is Forbes, by the way.
We got some more work to do here, huh?
We got more work to do. You never know who else is going to show up on the stage with us. Now, you also have a Attorney General's runoff here. So here's the results. 87 for Mays Middleton, 7% for Chip Roy. Always interesting. Always interesting. And then I'm also reading stuff in the media. They're telling us there's this big movement within the conservative movement that is anti-Israel now. I just hear it from the...
Sorry. I don't think it's a big movement. I would say, I think from my understanding of the polling is, I think it's over 50% still would consider themselves pro-Israel. It's 56% or something along those lines. And 44% would not, I think. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're anti-Israel. None of them, I think overwhelmingly, they still side with Israel over the Palestinians. Let me see if I can find some polling real quick. Republican polling on Israel. Gallup. Come on, Gallup. Gallup faster. Okay, here's some good info for people. So this is what I was talking about before. I said it was 80-20. It looks like it's a little bit lower now. It's 70-13. So it has changed. 70 are with Israel, 13 are with the Palestinians. That's all of them. Republican. Find some more Republican polling. Republicans, favorable views of Israel. So 69% favorable of Israel. So that's even more than I thought it was. Maybe this was what I was thinking. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, obviously there's still a significant portion of the Republican Party that that is like pro Israel, but it does vary by age. And I think that you know, the younger Republicans, which are the future of the Republican Party, are less so now. So
The media.
let's see what else they got to say.
We asked you guys about it. We wanted to know what you guys thought about it. I'm sorry, we did the Ayatollah first. They put this in a different order for me. You're supposed to be against the Iran war. Well, 89% approve of our military action there.
We already knew that. Didn't we already know that? Wasn't it like 90% like of like MAGA Republicans or whatever were on board with the war, if I remember correctly? I thought it was even higher, to be honest. I feel like that number went down.
70% strongly approve.
God, they're such fucking seals, man.
I think, by the way, I think when the media write these stories, they speak to each other. They don't speak to the people in this room. Which, speaking of, now we're going to go.
They quite literally did the exact same polling of like MAGA people, and I think the numbers were higher. Like, what are they talking about?
Go back to Israel. You guys are all supposed to be anti-Israel, right?
No, not God damn it, dude. They're like, they live in an alternate universe. What do they think the media is saying? Do they not read the same polls that I read? Like, I don't understand.
85% say Israel continues to be one of the United States' most important strategic allies in the world. 60% strongly believe it. And God bless Benjamin Netanyahu. God bless the Israeli people. They do a lot of our dirty work, as well as the dirty work of the...
Yikers, dude, man. Okay, that is some... God bless Benjamin Netanyahu, the literally like reincarnation of Satan. Like, these people are all demonic, man. They are satanic. These people are satanic. It's insane to me.
The rest of the world, and we're going to owe them a deep debt of gratitude.
Thank you, Benjamin Netanyahu, for killing all those brown people. You did such a good job. Hey, Jesus, can I get into heaven, please? Like, what are they talking about, dude? These people are going straight to hell. It's so, like, oh my God.
2028. Who do you prefer in the Republican primary?
This is what I was here
Vance
for.
at 53%, Marco Rubio at 35%.
Okay, it's just the most visible people right now. Marco Rubio would have a better chance than JD Vance. JD Vance is just charismaless. He's Rizless, dude. Like, I have more Riz than him, and I'm the like tiny little YouTuber. They will. I just don't think he can bear the torch. I just don't think he has the skills necessary. Rubio, he's a little bit better, I think. I think that he would have a better chance, but I do think it's going to be some other person, though. Especially, like, as it becomes clear that someone needs to bear the torch. Like, I think it's going to be another person with a lot of charisma that is not necessarily that tied to politics right now. Like, similar to Donald Trump in that way. I've heard Tucker Carlson floated around. I think he would probably, you know, be a good torchbearer or whatever for the MAGA movement, or I think he would, you know, he would probably be able to handle it. My dark horse, though, is Kanye. I think Kanye is going to come back, dude. I think Kanye is going to come back, and he is going to be the, you know, the black white supremacist that we all knew he could be. So that's kind of who I'm thinking. I was gonna say like Candace Owens as well, but I just don't think she has any ambition for any sort of public life. So besides her, like, you know, her podcast, obviously, or whatever, her TV or YouTube show.
By the way, the interesting part about that is everybody else is about 2% or less.
Yep. And look, I think that CPAC has a strong tradition of letting these folks come here, make their pitch. That'll happen at all the events we have around America over the coming year. It's going to be a great conversation about how do we keep all of this rolling.
Yeah, without a doubt. We got to keep it rolling, and then
keep the
some.
fascism rolling.
And then The next
Can't
question.
let it die. That is the thing with fascism, is you got to keep it rolling. If you don't keep it rolling, then yeah, it collapses. So
After that one,
i.e., if you don't get more and more brutal, if you don't keep getting more and more brutal, then it's going to collapse.
and then the next question after that one was this, and this was another Mac question. All right, we asked, is Donald Trump the best president in your lifetime?
What do we think, people? What do you think? What percentage? Guys, I'm calling it. I think it's 100%. I think it is literally 100%. People in this room, it has to be, right? There's not a single person, I don't think, who would answer that vote no. Like, it's got to be. Okay, let's see.
94% agree with that.
Ooh, oh no. Oh no, okay. Well, that's not good, right? This is literally Trump conference. This is TrumpCon. They're at TrumpCon, and Trump got 96% of the vote at TrumpCon. Like, that is a little disappointing to me for them, I guess, but
80% strongly. That's pretty amazing.
Not is 4% not amazing enough, if you ask me. Okay, well, I think that one was kind of fun. I didn't realize we were going to get all of those different straw poll answers or whatever. So I think that was kind of interesting. Let's go over to this one real quick.
A Russian.
This is a news story from today, from 7 hours ago, it says. But so as everybody knows, America is doing its best right now to kill every infant and old person in Cuba by shutting off the power of hospitals, every 12, 24 hours or so, just trying to kill as many infants as we possibly can. That's like our goal, I think, or like, at least that's what it feels like our goal is right now. But apparently, I don't really know why this is happening. Maybe this video will give us a little more insight, but apparently America is allowing, or they're just doing it and we're not stopping them, I don't know, but allowing a tanker of Russian oil into Cuba, which is good. That is great. We will, I'm sure dozens of infants will be saved. Dozens of elderly people will not have to die a horrifying death in the dark because of this. Now let's try and keep, let's keep it up. Like, let's keep getting some more oil, sending it over there. But let's see what France 24 has to say about it. This is Russian oil arrives in Cuba following Trump turnaround on Cuba blockade. Let's go.
A Russian oil tanker has arrived in Cuba, bringing in much-needed crude. Millions of Cubans have been struggling with blackouts after the United States cut off oil exports to Cuba when they ousted Nicolas Maduro. Health officials in Havana say hospitals are particularly affected by the power cuts there. But over the weekend, Donald Trump indicated he had no problem with the country receiving supplies, including from Russia. Well, with me is Philip Tell to talk a bit about all of this from our Foreign Affairs desk. Philip, what can you tell us then about this apparent backpedaling by Donald Trump and the arrival now of this oil?
Well, this is called the Anatoly Kolodkin. It's a ship that belongs to the Russian government. It's carrying 100,000 tons worth of fuel, which is going to come as a welcome break for the people of Cuba, as you mentioned.
So I don't know what this is. My guess is that Russia, I don't know if there's anything humanitarian. Like, I mean, it is obviously somewhat humanitarian, but my guess is that Russia is selling it to Cuba, potentially at a like heavily marked up price or something. And is willing to, and is telling Trump, hey, we're going to do this. And if you, because Russia is like one of the only countries that probably could get away with this. But like, if you do anything to our ship, like, we're going to have a diplomatic incident, like, like vis-a-vis Ukraine or whatever. Like, we'll start blasting Ukraine, something along those lines or whatever. And I would guess that it's probably something along those lines. I never trust Russia to do anything out of like the goodness of their heart or anything. So that's why I'm like, I wonder if it's just heavily marked up, or like they see this as a good, like it could be both like helping the Cuban people, but also, or like helping, one of America's enemies, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my best guess of what's going on here.
And there's been a blockade on oil coming into the country since the capture of Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan president, back in January. And that's because Venezuela was one of the main suppliers of oil to the Cubans. And that has been cut off since Nicolas Maduro was captured. That oil was sent to the country for very advantageous tariffs. So since then, Cuba's been struggling to make ends meet with a massive oil shortage, which has led to power cuts and to drastic reductions in the amount of oil available for people to use in their everyday lives. So the arrival of this tanker with this 100,000 tons of oil on board will be used for diesel, gasoline, jet fuel, fuel oil, which is used to power many Cuban power plants. It's going to take time to refine much of it, but it's going to be used, I think, pretty quickly, and will be a welcome break for all the Cubans. Now, this is quite a reversal for Donald Trump. We were just in the last few weeks hearing that the US was putting an embargo on any oil being allowed into Cuba at all, because what the US is trying to do is to asphyxiate the Cuban government. They've made no bones about the fact that they want the Cuban government to be overthrown by the people of Cuba, and
and don't forget, trying to kill as many infants as possible. That's our goal.
to get rid of Miguel Diaz-Canel, the president of Cuba, by any means. I think basically because Marco Rubio, who is of Cuban origin, the U.S. Secretary of State, would like to see a change of government while he is still Secretary of State under Donald Trump,
he's a demon.
With a view to himself running for president of the United States next time round. This would be a huge bonus for him to get rid of the communist regime, which has been in power since 1959. So that was why there was this big oil embargo, to weaken the regime, to make people rise up. Sounds exactly what Donald Trump was saying about the situation in Iran. So we've seen this U-turn where he's now allowing in this Russian ship of oil to alleviate the suffering, as Donald Trump says, to many of the people in Cuba.
And help us.
Sorry, one second. I don't think that he's doing it to alleviate the suffering. I don't think that he's really, if I had to guess, Donald Trump just doesn't really have much of a choice in this matter. I said before, like, I kind of jokingly, but I said, China, send oil to Cuba now. Like, America is too bogged down. Like, that was what I used to say, back whenever we first started going to war with Iran. I was saying it jokingly, but I was also saying it truthfully, and that we moved a lot of our military assets from around Cuba to the Middle East as we decided to go to war with Iran. There are only so many, like, theaters of war that we can contend with and all of that sort of stuff. Now, I don't necessarily think that, like, we couldn't have stopped the Russian tanker from getting in if we wanted to. I'm sure that whatever ships are still stationed there could have stopped the Russian tanker and seized the oil, or seized the tanker itself, or whatever. However, because it's Russia, and this is why I said China do it, because it's Russia, it would be such a diplomatic incident, and there could be second, third order consequences to that. For instance, for Ukraine, or like if China did it, right? Like if China did this exact same thing, sent oil to Cuba, and then America seized that tanker, China would be like, okay, well then you're not getting any more chips or whatever, or we're going to, like we'll seize various American assets, or, we'll actually tariff you 100% on all of our little Chinese trinkets that we send over to your country that you can't get enough of, or whatever, right? Like, there are so many more cards for them to play as other, like, global superpowers, that I was like, I think that because we're at war with Iran, there wouldn't be the appetite to start another diplomatic row that could cause more economic pain or more military pain for Ukraine or whatever, but like more economic pain for America. So I kind of bet that that's kind of what's going on here.
Let's understand, Philip, why this decision has been taken now.
Well, that's the interesting thing, Nadia. To be honest with you, nobody really knows. But if you scratch the surface, you can understand, I think, where this is coming from. Donald Trump has been saying, well, I don't have a problem with a ship going in there. The situation is so difficult for the Cubans. Just one shipload of oil is not going to change anything. And for the Russians, it's not going to change anything either, for Vladimir Putin sending in one ship of oil. I think there are a couple of reasons. First of all, it's no secret that Donald Trump admires Vladimir Putin. Even the name of the operation that he's undertaking in Iran right now, called the military operation.
I don't disagree that he admires him, but this is some Euro trash thinking. Like this is some like we hate Donald Trump because he is facilitating, like he wants Russia to take over all of Ukraine sort of stuff. Like I mean, I don't know. I think he kind of admires him, but also I think he is kind of pissed at him for not just going along with his whims for like winding down the war.
Reminds one of the special military operation that Vladimir Putin is calling the so-called war in Ukraine, and also the Americans? Fact that Donald Trump is threatening to launch bombing raids on power installations in Iran is a bit like the threat and the carrying out of installation bombing in Ukraine by the Russians. So what we're seeing here is him allowing Russian oil into Cuba. And I think one of the reasons for that is because it would be very difficult for the US to stop that ship from getting there, because there could riskily be a confrontation just off the coast of Florida between the Russians and the Americans. And Donald Trump doesn't really want that to happen, especially as he has still got his eyes on trying.
There's risk of confrontation there, but there's also all those other things I said, like a diplomatic row that could end up leading to just negative outcomes for average Americans.
To get out of the war in the Middle East, and doesn't want to have a conflict taking place just on the out in the sea off the coast of Florida. And the second point is, of course, of the oil prices being very high right now. This might alleviate a little bit the world situation by allowing this ship into Cuba to help the people there and bring down oil prices. That would look good on Donald Trump also in the opinion polls. So I think those may be some of the reasons why this is taking place. But the bottom line is there's a big contradiction going on all the time about what Donald Trump is doing, where he's going, what he's saying, what he's going to do. And this is just another example, with Donald Trump saying, well, Cuba is next, by the way, meaning that once he's finished with the war in Iran, he intends to get rid of the regime in Cuba. But
too bad the war in Iran is going to go on for the next decade or so, right? Okay, well, you know what? That was kind of interesting. I think that my analysis was probably pretty decent. We'll get more information eventually, maybe. I would also say China, you also can do this, like ship some oil to Cuba. America isn't going to seize your fucking oil tanker. You could just shut off our chips or whatever, like I said. So they're not going to do anything. So just send some oil to Cuba. And if it has to be covert, just do it covertly. Be like, Trump, we don't want you to look weak or anything. We'll do this under the table. You just let us through, and it'll be under the cover of darkness. Nobody will even know it happened. Like, okay. Let's go ahead and watch. Oh God, how much time do I have? Okay, I'm just gonna watch this one.
As a kid.
Okay. I have no idea who this channel is. However, I did see the title of it, the title of this video, and I decided that I had to watch it. For those who are unaware of my feelings on guillotines in particular, I think they need to be brought back, and I think that they should only be able to be used on people of immense power. So I am pro capital punishment, but only for people who have a ton of power, be it either political power or wealth, right? I think those are the only types of people that guillotines should be allowed for, or just the death penalty in general should be allowed for. No poor people, basically. Now, I saw this video and I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. Did this guy solve my entire problem? The problem of like, I don't want this guillotine to be used on anybody except people of immense power, because if he did, this could be the invention of like the century. So let's go ahead and watch this video by Soggy Cereal. And we'll see if this guillotine that he invented, we'll see if we buy it. Okay, let's see.
As a kid, I always thought we lived in a proper world. A happy planet where everyone's equal. My history teacher said feudalism is dead. So now we all drink the same water and all eat the same food. Of course, I was wrong because apparently after the recent Epstein files release, turns out the billionaire class eats frickin' babies. Babies? They bomb kids for profit. They own the media. This person was literally talking about turning oxygen into an asset. And I think we should apply this rule to.
Wow, I think I'm really gonna like this video. Right off the bat, he's not being wishy-washy with his politics or whatever. He's not being like like trying to be some sort of like centrist type or whatever. He's just like going right in, and I love it.
Her first. Wait, billionaire Mr. Beast is allegedly building a crypto trading app for kids now? Can't wait to compete for my kneecaps in a Mr. Beast video after I gambled all of my savings away. The entire world is burning. But at least the president's granddaughter can make her happy vlogs about spending taxpayer money on taking the Secret Service to expensive grocery stores. I'm going insane. Is what the elite would want us to say, because divided and insane, we are no real threat to them. You know what is? Organizing protests to resist their oppressive boots. Well, yeah, sure. But I was thinking something a little bit more guillotine shaped.
Wait a second.
What? I still gotta build the thing, dummy.
Okay. Nice. I love it so far. This is great.
I've been digging on the French Revolution lately, which basically was this late 1700s movement of peasants in France who said, you know...
Boobage alert, by the way. Anybody who's watching.
You know what? Screw these rich assholes treating us like dirt. And fucking slaughtered them. And I know. Kinda seems relevant.
The French Revolution was, reading about it was the tipping point for me as to why I did think we need guillotines back. Like, and in particular, it is about it was the problem with like, what do you do with your with your evil people representative of the previous system, right? That's what the whole thing was. Like, the reason that they chopped off the head of the king was because it was a representative sort of like moment of like saying we are done with the monarchy, and from this point on it is going to be different. If they instead had just thrown him in jail for, I don't know, just thrown him in jail indefinitely forever, there would still be monarchists all over the place, like trying to like find ways to like get him out and like restore the monarchy the entire time. Essentially counter-revolutionary shit, right? And so for that reason, I think that, it is necessary to, as like both a symbol and to prevent the counter-revolutionaries from having an ideological figure to all rally behind. That's why I think it is important to execute the former system, especially when it comes to like a revolutionary fervor. So that includes like, a lot of our billionaires as well. If we ever try to move on past like hyper capitalism or whatever we're currently, whatever you call our current system of government, to, I don't know, even just like social democracy or whatever, I think we're going to have to take some like Elon Musk types or Zuckerberg types out to the guillotine if we want to ever have any sort of somewhat sustainable like period after the revolution without counter-revolutionaries just constantly trying to reinstall our billionaire oligarchs to power or whatever.
For some reason. Oh yeah, maybe because wealth inequality is now worse than during the French Revolution, which means that about 80% of the US population could now be considered peasants. So I'm gonna build a guillotine, because that's what the French used to be had 1780s equivalent of Elon Musk, which sounds cool as fuck. And I'll be damned if I let myself be out or farmed by the French. So I've been studying guillotine designs for the past 3 days now. Even made a little 3D model. My entire office wall is basically just images of beheadings at this point, which is pretty awkward for friends and family.
Hey, I'm going. What the fuck is this about?
Valentine's present? But there are a few problems. See, I'm a weak little bitch and can barely even carry one wooden plank. Have you seen these noodles? I don't want to hold the blade every time I gotta use this guillotine. My arms are gonna get tired. And two, what if a wasp flies in my eyes and I turn blind? Then how am I supposed to know if there's a billionaire trapped in my guillotine? So I'm gonna make a few modifications to the original design.
Face detected.
Oh my god! It fucking works! Yes! I've been trying to figure out how to stream footage from this random security camera I had lying around to my laptop and then at least detect if there's a face on screen. Because I want to give these billionaires a little taste of their own medicine. See, one of the billionaires.
So, okay. So he's going a face detection route. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't really know how would I do this? Okay, let's see. I am a software developer at heart, or like in my professional job. So how would I go about doing this? Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the best way. Yeah, recognizing, like doing a facial recognition, recognizing if they're in like the Forbes top 100 or whatever. Like, I'm sure there's a database of every billionaire out there or whatever. And then letting the blade go through. I was also thinking you could do something like anytime someone achieved ultimate wealth or whatever, or ultimate power, you like tattoo them with something or what, and then you could just, if they got that, but then they could potentially, fall out of that wealth and they would still have the tattoo. So that wouldn't really work. You would need a dynamic system. So yeah, you know what? I guess that's the best way. He's right.
I think most dangerous to humanity is this walking corpse who looks like he orders blood by the gallon. That's not a joke, by the way. Peter Thiel.
Yeah,
there are like
definitely
hour-long videos on why this guy's...
He probably is the Antichrist. If you are a Christian out there, I'm not. Okay, I'm a secular. If you are a Christian out there, just know this person right here, like, he's the Antichrist, okay? I have read a lot about like Christianity and stuff. Like, it is a fascinating subject to me as a secular, but this man right here, he is the Antichrist.
Evil. But I think this clip pretty much sums it up.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. Should the human race survive?
Sorry, I gotta use the bathroom, but I'm gonna let play.
But most of you probably know that he's a co-founder of the AI mass surveillance company Palantir, literally named after the orbs used by the Dark Lord Sauron to spy on our heroes in the Lord of the Rings. And currently that company is being used to spy on citizens, help bomb civilians, and silencing journalists and whistleblowers. I love the times we live in. But this sweaty little psycho gave me an idea. See, instead of letting these billionaires spy on us, how about we spy on them? How about instead of having to go through the hassle of holding the heavy blade rope of my guillotine and having to use my eyes to look at who's laying there, we just set a camera to detect if a billionaire's on the chopping block and wham! Fucking whack him! Like an automatic whack-a-mole, except it's with billionaires and their heads fall off. But first, I gotta make this guillotine. Nickel and dimed on this tiny ass saw. And while I bother my downstairs neighbor with the sound of my drill, I'm gonna have to do an ill-timed ad read in a video about greed and billionaires. I don't want to be hypocritical.
I did have a thought though while I was peeing. I think that there's only one way to know for sure that it works, right? There's only one way to know that for sure that this thing is going to work, right? If he doesn't put his body on the line for this experiment, I will be sorely disappointed. He's got to go full like Thomas Edison on this shit.
But this guillotine isn't going to pay for itself. Jesus Christ, this drill is loud. Lovely. This video is sponsored by Raycon. Hi, I'm a floating for sponsoring this video. Holy shit, it's perfect. Well, actually it's not. I didn't have enough wood for 4 legs, so this is a 3-legged guillotine. But you know, it's not like this is a dangerous, deadly weapon or something. Okay, this is unbladed test 1. Holy shit!
It seemed to work.
Kinda works. Now I just gotta make the blade. Problem is, as you can see, very good. I am a dumbass. A little pick-me-upper? And so without looking, I thought I ordered two 150 by 150 centimeter solid steel plates, which I then plan to cut up into several guillotine blade designs. Angled, curved, straight, gay. I support my guillotine no matter what sex they prefer.
A gay guillotine hand. That'd be kind of funny if we do make one. I think it should be spray painted something fun
For beheading. Turns out, I ordered two 150 millimeter plates instead. And if that's confusing for my US viewers, just put your foot on the screen, man. But so now I gotta find a way to turn these two teeny tiny plates into one weapon of execution that could take on even the biggest billionaire. And if that's not a perfect David versus Goliath analogy, I don't know what is. Okay, so I think I found a way to make this work. I found these 300 millimeter solid steel strips from some other project laying around. And I was thinking, what if I mount this to the bottom of these two tiny 150 millimeter plates? And then just sharpen it with a grinding disc to make one continuous 300 millimeter blades. Oh wait, one sec. Yeah, it's good enough. Why, yes, I am a professional upstairs neighbor.
Is he doing this inside his like apartment? Dude, this is a recipe for disaster. Like, you could probably do this outside, you know? Like, you could just, I assume you could just, like, set something up outside to do this, because this seems like you're gonna fuck up something in your apartment, I feel like.
Now, while this moron figures out a way to make his Temu.com guillotine blade work, let me give you a quick history lesson on why I think instead of looks maxing, we should actually be guillotine maxing.
Can I listen to this? I don't know. Well, he has it in his video.
I spent 2 hours editing that. Anyways, after my last video where I made a custom shock collar to see if it could cure my crippling phone addiction, I really got into history books. Ancient China, Rome, the French Revolution, obviously. And there's the saying that history doesn't repeat itself, it just rhymes. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. Because one thing that definitely repeats itself constantly is power-hungry rich fucks ruining entire societies for their own benefit. In ancient
Yep. It happens every time, people. It happens without fail every single time, unless it is constantly stopped. You need constant diligence to push back your greedy, power-hungry, like the greedy, power-hungry losers of your society, to keep them from attaining power and wealth. That should be the primary goal of every society, like indefinitely, is trying to prevent wealth inequality, like wealth accumulation. Like, that should literally be the one goal of society, is to prevent wealth accumulation. My argument, by the way, is that if workers owned, you know, their companies, or like owned the means of production, that it would be much easier to prevent our billionaire, you know, pedo overlords from attaining infinite wealth. That's my own personal opinion. But if you have a better way, I'm all ears. If you have a different way of preventing billionaires from attaining endless and infinite wealth at the expense of the working class, I'm all ears. But that is my personal opinion.
In China, they ruined Mencius Confucianism, turning this popular philosophy that believed the state should provide people with basic needs and give them the freedom to question or overthrow their rulers if they became greedy and corrupt, into an oppressive, one-way hierarchical system of blind obedience to the elite. Many now see Christianity as synonymous with million-dollar mega-churches, private jets, and diddling kids. But it actually started out as a small grassroots people-first, anti-wealth and anti-war movement. But then the elite got a hold of it and turned into a pro-war, elites-first, hierarchical state religion. Hey, can you
always be on the lookout, people? They will co-opt anything, and they will turn it into a bastardized, blasphemous version of what it was, if it will help them retain or attain more power. They did it with Christianity, like you said. They did it with civil rights movement. They did it with basically any good thing that has ever happened in society is usually co-opted and rewritten by the elites.
You tone it down,
to protect them.
I'm trying to make a video over here. Suck my dick. Even capitalism had its better times, partly because it was driven by a bunch of socialist policies. Workers were prioritized over shareholders. Employees' wealth grew in relation to their productivity. And the rich were being taxed more, while the middle class could basically support their families on a one-person salary. But you know, elite corruption, anti-socialist fear-mongering, Ronald Reagan introducing trickle-down economics. Still waiting for the downward trickle to happen, by the way. And now we're at the point where people gotta bet their entire month's salary on which country's gonna get nuked to be able to afford rent. History's basically people wanting...
Dude, we live in hell. This is hell, man. If the devil is out there and he designed hell, it would be this system that we are currently living under. We have the most satanic organization of society that has ever existed.
The bare minimum to live.
We have a literal cabal of pedophile billionaires who determine who we're going to go to war with on a daily basis and then place bets on Polymarket on how many brown people, like how many brown babies they're going to kill today. Like, you cannot tell me that that is not the most satanic system of government that has ever fucking existed.
A bunch of rich guys going, okay, so what if instead we make millions of people suffer so that none of us can just do whatever the heck we want? Oh my god, that's brilliant! Yeah, doesn't that sound awesome? And the only way to stop these parasites is to put the fear of God into them. Okay, but that's enough boring history for today. Let's test this puppy.
Let's test it.
Go Yankees or whatever, I don't know.
I think it cut.
Holy shit! What?
I'm a little surprised.
It's a perfect slice! What?
I'm already seeing one problem though. This needs to be a lot heavier. I do not think that's getting through a neck, if I had to guess. There'd be an easy way to test, I think, if you just put like, I don't know, if you roll up like a pork belly or something, like I feel like that would be pretty equivalent to a human neck. But yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work. You might need to put like a 20-pound weight on the back of it or something.
It works! A perfect slice, look at this! I am the fruit ninja. Best banana eaten in my life. Hot dog.
Hey, it's working.
Okay, maybe I'm not gonna be able to eat that anymore. No food waste in this house, baby. That's alright. Okay, now let's do a billionaire. I've got no camera detection yet. I'm gonna do it in a bit, but I've got Jeffrey Epstein or Jeffrey Epstein. You know what? Let's do both. Oh no, guys, he's gonna kill himself again.
Nope.
Shit. Okay, so as you can see, it didn't completely slice.
It doesn't seem like it's going through. I thought it was supposed to go all the way like in between the two slats or whatever.
Through the paper. So I'm gonna have to find a fix for that. But let's first try one more time on this demon.
Yeah.
This guillotine was promised to me 3,000 years ago. Huh? You wouldn't say. This time it did work. But that wasn't a billionaire. Huh? He's not a billionaire. Well, guess I need a camera for me.
Well, people. This is why I say people of immense power, whether it's political or capital. Whatever it is, if they hold immense power, then they can be subject to this.
To detect the billionaires, after all.
I would say anybody in, anyone in the apparatus of government. Like, what do I mean by that? I mean, like the highest levels, I guess, is what I would say. So president, Supreme Court, every member of the Senate, every member of Congress. Like this is for America, for instance. In Israel, it would be obviously Netanyahu, but anyone in the Knesset, anybody who holds immense power, political power, even if it's not monetary power, should also be allowed to be facial recognized by this guy right here.
Whoops. So let's talk about faces. See, having your camera detect a face is easy because, well, there's nothing quite like a human face. However, to detect a specific person through facial recognition, yeah, now that's a shit ton of work. To analyze their bone structure, eyes, mouth, ears, to use statistical probability to calculate.
I mean, I'm sure that there is software already existing for this exact purpose.
Chance it's actually that person. Oh my god, wait. There's just a free open source library I can use?
Yeah.
Yoink. Oh my god. No shit, all these billionaires are pushing mass surveillance. I made this in like 30 minutes. Wow. It's the guy who made comedy legal again.
Elon Musk, there it is.
Comedy. Nice. It actually works. Oh boy, time to start sweating again, Peter.
Gosh.
I originally wanted to do this in a public park, but
And there's something that happens, man, also with billionaires, that they just look so gross. The more money you accumulate, the grosser you look, man. Like, that's how you'll be able to tell if I ever make it, if I ever become a billionaire. I'm just going to start looking really, really gross like these people do.
There's no way to get this 2.5 meters French Revolution.
Maybe that's how I'll do it. Maybe instead of facial recognition, maybe I'll just recognize how gross and weird looking their faces are and be like, this person's face is so gross, he has to be a billionaire, because there seems to be a direct correlation between how gross your face is and how much money you have, from what I can tell.
Guillotine out of my 3rd floor apartment.
Oh, sorry, or personality tests or personality, like you have an AI talk to the person, and if they're psychopathic in a certain way, I'm sure you could determine whether they're a billionaire or not based on, you know, their answers to a bunch of questions. Like something along those lines could work as well.
I want to make it a public spectacle outside.
You can make it a private spectacle for me.
Okay. Oh, honey.
Hey.
Hey, do you remember that Valentine's present I was working on?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Guillotine, actually. Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
As you can see,
nice.
Not a usual.
Yeah,
Guillotine.
no, you definitely got to get wifey buy-in for if you're doing something like this. For all of you people out there, all of you people who are, you know, in a relationship, don't just build this and not tell your wife or girlfriend about it, because this is definitely one of those situations where you need some buy-in from your significant other.
There's duct tape, 3 legs, an inconspicuous camera. What should happen is if I put one of these billionaires under the guillotine, then this camera should detect that there's a billionaire under there, and it won't detect that I'm one. Hopefully. I'm a pro boy. But first of all, I want to say we do not condone violence on this channel, okay?
Of course
This
not.
is just, how they put it in the Epstein files, more bread and circuses to distract all of us common peasants from rising up against the elite. That was mentioned by this guy, by the way, Jess Staley, billionaire, friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and also alleged rapist. So pretty good first candidate, right?
Yeah.
I know, guys, I tried to get real billionaires for this video, but apparently that's illegal. So I just put their pictures on our cereal boxes instead. All right, let's... Oh.
Whoa, it worked.
It worked! Now for the release of the blade, I turned this cheap solenoid in what I call a broke man's kabuki draw, where the weight of the guillotine is held by this paper clip, which is then pulled back by the solenoid triggered by my microcontroller when a billionaire is...
Oh my gosh, this is a lot of... This is some cool, like, Rube Goldberg shit that he's got going on.
detected for 3 seconds straight.
Wow.
It fucking works! Yes! Well, it didn't go through, but honestly, I don't want to waste cereals on these fucking billionaires. Next,
Contestant number Mark Zuckerberg.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mark, give me the Zuck. I'll try my best to do it for you.
Mark almost got me. Want to hear my Mark Zuckerberg impression?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Mark Zuckerberg. Pretty good, huh?
Wonderful.
Today, we're
got
gonna see if Mr.
Mr.
Beast
Beast,
can
oh
escape
no,
this
not
guillotine
Mr. Beast.
for $500 bajillion.
People.
Nothing personal, Jimbo. This is just what
that other video I watched about Mr. Beast, that was just a dude yelling at him from a Marxist perspective. I think this one might get his attention a little bit more.
happens when you start accepting Saudi Arabia blood money.
Mr. Beast!
Bruh. I guess he can't.
That's an L for the beast, man. Hey, Jeffrey. What?
Okay, well, I'll let it finish, I guess. We're already this far in, but okay.
Day/night will be the wildest party on your island.
I can't fucking stand this guy.
There we go.
Yippee! Well, this is our last cereal box. I wish we had more.
He didn't do.
So we could more billionaire. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say.
I was gonna say the only way to know that it doesn't work though is if he sticks his own face under it. He's got to do it for the game.
Restructure more billionaires. This is gonna be the last. Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel. What the fuck happened?
Did he fall out?
Even my guillotine couldn't survive Peter Thiel.
Oh no.
Look at my baby. She's been massacred by a demon. Now I know that obviously most of this video was just shits and giggles, but I do know that a lot of people are struggling with the state of the world right now, with these billionaires basically taking everything over. I know this video was a little different than my usual commentary videos. Let me know if you like this news.
I liked it. I'll even give it a like because I liked his commentary. I thought it was funny. I would have made it a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier, and I would have thrown actual billionaires in it for testing, but you know, yeah, I mean, you work with what you got, am I right? Yeah, if this could work, this could work. Okay, guys, I think that's, you know, something for everybody to get. I think everybody, I guess everybody needs to start getting more on board for this, because it's the only way we're going to survive as a species is if we, you know, if we take out a few of our billionaires. Free Luigi, am I right? Okay, let's see here. And I'm just saying that because, like I said, I think our species as like humanity is going to go extinct if we allow these people to exist. It's for the greater good, everybody. One billionaire, one sacrificial billionaire for the entire species, for hundreds of millions of people. You know, I think it's worth it personally. But okay, let's go ahead and see if I got any articles. I didn't really think, or I don't know. I don't think I planned any. So if I got any from previous times, let me see. I already read this one. Oh wait, that's the same story. That one sounded funny. But let's see. Let's go to the For You page. Let's see what we got. What do we got? Anything fun? I already read that one offline. Maybe we could do this one. Let me see if we got anything else there. I'll open it in a new tab. Let's see. Sorry, that one's funny. Erica Kirk allegedly in an unmarked building without address when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Candace Owens says. That's some Candace content. Yeah, yep. We're doing a full-on occupation. Like I said, though, because we live in a late-stage capitalist society, we have to wait till markets close before we go to war. So, you know, it'll be Friday or Saturday, or, you know, if not this one, the next one, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, we at least got 4 days of peace and quiet. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to that one that I saw earlier. Oh, that could be a good one too. But I might have to sign in for that one. Let's just go ahead and go to this one. Okay. Yeah, so I know that the Pentagon had some like press changes, I think, where they were going to, you know, stop having America Last news organizations come in and ask them tough questions, or like ask them America hating questions like what are we trying to accomplish in this war, or why do you hate gay people so much, or, you know, like stuff like that, like all of these or like why did, or how did Iran take out that F-35? All of these woke ass questions that we ain't got time for when we're out there when we're out there accomplishing every goal that we haven't told you, and you're just out there complaining that we aren't winning the war. So I think that they just said like no confrontational press is going to be allowed into the Pentagon press conferences, where I've watched a lot of videos with Keg's Breath out there, and to be honest, he needs as much help as he can get. He doesn't need any hard questions, so maybe it's for the best. But anyway, apparently a judge is not liking it. A judge is calling it weird. So let's go ahead and read this article, see if we can find out what's going on here. Let me see how long it is. Not very long. Okay. What's going on? U.S. judge calls aspects of new Pentagon press policy weird. Judge seems skeptical of Pentagon's restrictive protocol, but did not rule on forcing compliance with an earlier order. Federal Judge Paul Friedman seems skeptical of the new press policy implemented by the Pentagon last week, calling aspects of it weird and Kafkaesque. Friedman struck down key aspects of the previously implemented Pentagon media policy on March 20th, but at the latest hearing on Monday stopped short of ruling on a motion filed by the New York Times to force compliance of his decision. Friedman was particularly skeptical about the ways in which the press space was being provided to the 7 New York Times reporters, whom he previously ruled should have their press access badges returned. Okay. So this is the woke New York Times trying to come into the press conference, and I guess they're not being allowed to. So let's see. The Times, along with dozens of other news organizations, chose not to sign the new restrictions implemented by the Pentagon last fall and returned their long-held passes. The Times sued the Trump administration over the policy. I don't quite know exactly what the policy was. I'm assuming they'll get into it. Julianne Barnes, one of the Times reporters at issue, had attested that he was told that library space was available for the journalists to use while the Pentagon built out a new space on the Pentagon grounds for all credentialed media workers to use. That he was told that library space was okay. But he wrote in a statement, the Pentagon press office staff indicated that they were unsure how we could access the library. How weird is that? Friedman, a district court judge, said on Monday. Is it Catch-22? Is it Kafka? What's going on? That hardly seems consistent with right of access and First Amendment. Lawyers for the government responded that a decision had been made to allow the Times reporters to use a Pentagon shuttle to reach the library. I'm very confused about what the original... Okay, I need to look up what the original thing was. What do we got? Okay, so I guess they move stuff around. The official press workspace is being moved to an annex facility outside the main Pentagon building. Journalists are no longer allowed to move freely within the Pentagon. All movement requires an escort. Policies prohibit requesting unapproved information with potential to revoke credentials for soliciting info from personnel. So you're not allowed to ask questions. Despite court rulings calling previous rules unconstitutional, the Pentagon has maintained strict requirements prompting further. Okay, yeah. So I guess they just made a lot of shit harder for reporters in general, is kind of what I'm gathering from just like what I saw on my screen. So, okay. Theodore J. Boutreau Jr., a lawyer representing the Times, charged that the administration was brazenly, blatantly flouting the court's order by announcing the closure of the press space known as Correspondence Corridor, and by creating a new policy that requires journalists to be escorted around the building by Pentagon staff member. I guess, yeah, basically treating them like babies. But also obviously requiring, you know, significantly more resources to facilitate, you know, their freedom of speech rights. Spending a lot of money just because they're, you know, little bitches who can't take tough questions. But nothing will stop them, he said. Not a court order, not an injunction. With the new requirement requiring escorts, Boutreau said Pentagon press credentials were now worthless. They've made the press credentials that we fought so hard to get back a meaningless piece of plastic, he added. They violated the First Amendment. As he had during a previous hearing, the judge expressed alarm that journalists could be penalized for asking questions of military officials, which he said they had the right to do, and that a Pentagon employee could simply decline to answer. Yeah, no shit, they have a right to do. They don't only have a right to do, they have a duty to do. That's their whole job. The new policy includes language stating that by offering anonymity to a Pentagon employee, a journalist would be demonstrating knowledge that the employee was not authorized to disclose the information, thereby putting their press pass at risk. Okay, so they were asking people to answer questions anonymously, or like if they weren't willing to give up their name, to answer it anonymously, which obviously is just like where a lot of leaks and stuff come from, right? Like people who are unhappy with the direction of the military or the Pentagon will often almost exclusively be anonymous so that they don't, you know, risk losing their fucking job if they go and talk to a press, or go talk to the press. So basically the Pentagon is just making that illegal, or at least something that they can punish the press for doing, is what it sounds like. But the judge seemed skeptical that a source using anonymity suggested that they were leaking classified information, even though they probably were. Aren't there lots of reasons why people in government ask for anonymity, he asked. People ask for anonymity because they're afraid of retribution or because their bosses won't like it, he said, suggesting that it could create a chilling effect. Of course. Timothy Parlator, who played a central role in designing the revamped press restrictions announced last fall, told reporters after the hearing that the new restrictions didn't bar questions, but prevented journalists from trying to force reluctant staffers to reveal information after they had indicated they would not do so. Sure. That's, technicalities, rhetorical trickery. It's what our entire, now that we live in this Orwellian version of the United States of America, where up is down and left is right, this sort of rhetorical trickery is just something that I expect at this point. Just nothing means anything. Anything means whatever you want. Who cares what the court says? I don't know. That's kind of just the age we're living in. What we're talking about here are when they go to department employees and they say, hey, can you tell me about this? And the employee's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And they say, well, what if I give you anonymity? Will you talk to me then? Then they're trying to get somebody to talk who's already said that they don't want to talk, he said. That's stupid, because he could obviously just say no again if he wants to, if he doesn't want to talk. This is just good journalism. But he also said that the Pentagon did not plan to go through articles and try to determine who the anonymous sources were, but would act if an employee conveyed that a reporter had asked them to disclose classified information, something that would be barred under the language of the new policy. Anytime a person with a security clearance has somebody that approaches them to try to solicit that information, they're supposed to report that, he said. That is stupid. It's not the reporter's job. It is not the reporter's job to, like, not get classified information. It is the person with classified information clearance's job not to tell classified information. Now, many reporters will, if they do get classified information, will like restrain it or like not actually report on it due to some like fealty or duty to the United States government. Which I say, fuck that. No, everything should be declassified, in my opinion. I mean, I understand that there are some things that like are sensitive to our goals or whatever, but usually it's really evil shit and bad shit that I would like to know about. You know, they said like, oh, Snowden or whatever, he was the one who released all of the 9/11 stuff, right? I always get him and the other guy confused. Or the drone strikes? Was he the drone strikes guy? Oh no, I get him and the other one confused, but they released a ton of classified information, and that like, oh, is the government surveillance programs? That's right, of American civilians in particular. Okay, yeah, like they released a ton of classified information to the public, and that was a good thing because it was information that we should know about. And yes, it did complicate the American State Department's goals that they were trying to accomplish when we learned about all of the you know, the surveillance of our own people, or we learned about all of the drone strikes or like of civilians in the Middle East or whatever. That is something like that they didn't want us to know because it did get in the way of their goals for the American populace to know that and be opposed to it. So the whole idea that like it would get in the way of the American State Department and their like, you know, their desires and goals is like, in my opinion, not a good reason to not leak classified information or not report classified information, because usually it's just like really evil shit. You can use your judgment also as a news reporter if you really think that it's something that shouldn't be released to the public, although I don't trust most of our news reporters to like make that assessment correctly, because I would guess that they would put a lot of stuff that I wouldn't in that bucket. Like I bet they would all protect like the Epstein class generally, if I had to guess, all of these reporters. But okay, sorry, I got a little distracted. I don't even remember where I was. I think right here. He also said that the Pentagon did not plan to go through articles and try to determine who the anonymous sources were, but would act. Oh, I think I already read that. Okay. Parlator asked about the judge's invocation of the Joseph Heller novel Catch-22, said it was based on creative misinterpretations by the New York Times lawyers and a fictional interpretation of the policy. Parlator asked about the judge's. Yeah. The goal of the press policy, Parlator said, was to reduce leaks of classified information. There is a significant amount of leaks of classified information, and that was something that the department has an obligation, a statutory obligation, to try to stop. Depends on the information, but yeah. Catch-22 is a good book. Anybody who hasn't read it, it does go into a lot of the absurdity of the military, and just how like both funny and sad it is. And I think that that is a pretty apt analysis of what's going on here, or like an apt like reference to make in what's going on here, if I had to say. Parlator claimed that the policy had already paid dividends in a decrease of leaked classified information. At the end of the hearing, the judge asked a lawyer for the government, Sarah Welch, to submit by the end of the day a brief explaining the case law basis for creating a new press policy In response to a court order striking down the crux of the previous policy amid the U.S. war on Iran, time is of the essence, Boutros, the Times lawyer, said. There's a war going on and the American people are shut down from information. Yep. Yeah, we sure are. You know what? But what are you going to do? I mean, it does suck. It does suck. We do need people in there asking and getting as many leaks as possible if we're going to have an informed public that is able to make okay decisions when it comes to the ballot box. But you know that is not the goal of the American military. So I think it's time, everybody. I think it's time to go over to x.com. Who's ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Apparently X isn't ready, considering how long it's taking to fucking load. This might be my internet, though. I don't know for sure. I like to blame everything on X, the everything app, but sometimes it's just not. Sometimes it's my fault, you know? Okay, let's see here. The fact that Dropside News has no paywall is an underrated part of why we get read so much. And then some people pay anyway out of appreciation for the work. It's the best model. Yeah, I agree. The fact that AI drove people to vote for the Communist Party because their newspaper is available ungated online is going to be one of the most interesting trends of 2030s politics. Okay. They did the investigative journalism on the slush fund scandal and ended up destroying Shinzo Abe's faction. Interesting. Oh, what's this one? This could be funny. Exclusive. The No Kings movement is unmasking a new alliance. Communists, socialists, and Democrat activists are joining forces to try to shut down America's economy. The Anti-America campaign calls for a nationwide strike on May 1st, with the aim of shutting down all work, school, and commerce throughout the country. There is only one solution: communist revolution. Hell yeah, brother. I hope that America's working class will be ready, but May 1st is probably too soon, though. I know that there's going to be a big push for a nationwide general strike, I think in 2028, potentially, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. This was something that was in my like DSA onboarding thing or whatever. So I think that they're going to try to push for something like that, but oh God. They are evil, evil people. And yet again, evil people look really fucking weird. Ben Gavir or whatever his name is. Isn't that his name? Yeah, Ben Gavir. Looks really fucking weird. Also, Jews out there, take that shit off his head. He's doing you guys a disservice. Like, you should not allow him to wear a yarmulke. Like, or if that is one. Sorry, I'm not familiar with the different types of, you know, the different things that Jews like put on their head or whatever. But he should not be allowed to wear one. Go get your boy. He is a demon. He is satanic. I don't know. I need a video. I'm tired of talking. Let's see what this is.
There's going to come a day where the history books look back on this, and it will be, so many people will be fucking put to shame. It's going to be exactly like they say about World War II. Well, what did you do during the rise of Hitler? What would you have done during the rise of Hitler? Nobody likes to think of themselves, oh, I'd be a hero, right? Come to find out, no, the overwhelming majority of people just fucking go along to get along. And here we are. We have a scenario where a sundowning president with Alzheimer's, who's a malignant narcissist, is dragging us into World War III, committing war crimes on a daily basis, and crashing the global economy, and nobody is actually grabbing the steering wheel.
Yeah, he's not wrong. It's one of the problems with how we teach Holocaust you know, the Holocaust in the past. Like I watched a video, a Chris Hedges lecture the other day. It's on my YouTube channel as well, but about how we define, like, we make the Holocaust seem like some like unique sort of you know, could never happen again sort of situation, or like a unique sort of situation born out of unique circumstances with a uniquely evil person like Hitler or whatever. But we never teach like the economic conditions or like the like how liberals facilitated, right? Like most Americans don't even know that liberals helped facilitate the rise of fascism in Germany. They always do. This is how it always happens. This is how fascism rises, is liberals would rather like have a fascist come to power than, for instance, like a socialist or something, because they would rather they think that they have more likelihood of keep maintaining their wealth and power with a fascist than they do with a socialist. So, you know, and ironically, that Hitler was you know, they called themselves like the Socialist Party or whatever, but I think everybody kind of knew that they were a little full of it when they talked about that. But yeah, nobody, yeah, I don't know. The only people, like, it's always the same people throughout history who are always on the right side of history. You'll notice, like, you will, if you look back at history, if you go look at like, you know, slave uprisings and stuff, and like, who was on the sides of the slaves and their violent resistance against their colonial occupiers, right? If you go back in history, it's going to be like the leftists, right? If you go and look at who was out there protesting against the Vietnam War, right? It was the leftists. If you go out and look at which white people were out there marching alongside like Martin Luther King, or like joining the Black Panthers or whatever, right? Or at least helping them. It was the leftists. If you go back to any instance in history and you look for who was on the right side of that historical event, same with the Iraq War, right? Who was out there protesting against it? The leftists. Like, again, it's like it's time after time, right? Time after time, the leftists have to be the only ones out there who can, you know, see what's actually going on and have a moral compass and an ideology that helps them, you know, make sense and like understand where to be on issues and are vindicated every single time. But obviously pointing that out is not conducive to maintaining power. So that will be conveniently ignored, and it will this time as well. You know, it'll, like, let's say when this era of fascism is pushed back by, I would have to assume some sort of like large left social democrat / socialist / communist sort of like conglomerate that eventually like pushes off fascism and ushers in a new era of social democracy that has, like, you know, the benefits, like large amounts of benefits for the working class, similar to what happened after the Great Depression, right? When that happens, it will always be forgotten about that it was like the leftists and the socialists and communists that helped do it, because that's what you want to know how I know that. That's because that's exactly what happened with FDR's New Deal and stuff, is that it was these socialists and communists, along with a large segment of the populace who was just angry, who led FDR to those positions that he then enacted into legislation. And then immediately that was all memory hold, because it is not conducive to power. So, you know, it's just the plight of being a leftist, and it is unfortunate, but getting, like, I would say never get upset though about that. It's just, if you want to be on the right side of history and if you want to do good in the world, you're going to be, you know, viciously attacked constantly. That's just the nature of it. It's a little unfortunate, but, you know. Let's see.
Do you support the Trump administration's efforts to try to negotiate a deal with Iran to bring this war to an end?
I don't support this administration, period. They've gotten us into what will be looked at as one of the greatest blunders, presidential blunders of our time. Remember, this president had stated objectives. None of
God damn it, dude. God damn it. I'm so tired of this. Oh, he blundered. He didn't do it right. We would have done the war right and it would have gone well. Like, no, this is stupid messaging. This plays terribly. Nobody wants to hear this shit.
Of which he is achieving right now, from the nuclear program all the way to, frankly, regime change. The regime is more extreme. They've shown an asymmetric ability to choke up the Straits of Hormuz. Is called.
What would you have done differently, dude? Like, nothing would have gone differently if the Democrats were in charge and they did this war of choice. It all would have been exactly the same. All of the cards were just kind of in Iran's hand. Even if you were more strategically, like, smart or whatever, you would not have been able to take out all of their missiles or all of their drones. You wouldn't have been able to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. You wouldn't have been able to, I don't know, destroy all of their nuclear material. Like, these are things that, like, it's just physically impossible for America to do right now. Like, so I just don't, like, this is very, very silly and annoying and terrible messaging, and is exactly the kind of shit that it's going to make Democrats lose in the future, because they love losing.
Caused a global oil shock, and for Americans at home, our costs continue to rise.
Do you support?
Yeah, they love fucking losing. These types of Democrats, they love losing. They would much rather lose than when they would much rather lose and, like, still be on the side of their corporate interests or whatever, than when and have to actually engage in, like, working class politics. They would much rather lose. So just keep that in your mind when you look at fucking freaks like this. Decent amount of commies out there. Love my commie brothers and sisters. I don't necessarily say that I'm any particular ideology when it comes to socialism or communism. I would say that I'm anti-capitalist. And so anybody who is anti-capitalist, I am, I'm right there with you. Okay, let's see what people are mad about this time. Zohran Mamdani draws criticism after clip shows him speaking with his mouth full while discussing policy. Calls for New Yorkers to rethink their leadership choices.
About retaliation, it is illegal. You tell a worker organization.
Dude, for someone, he eats a lot of, like, he eats a lot of, I feel like, just, like, very basic meals from what I've seen, like, or not basic, but, like, spiced meats with rice or whatever. It's kind of like the vibe he gets. I feel like Taco Bell is going to, like, destroy his immune system or whatever, or, like, his digestive tract. Like, I'm why he's probably talking with his mouth full is because he needs to run over and take a shit immediately after taking a bite of this.
Tell your union, tell your friends. We will take anonymous complaints to DCWP. We'll reach out to workers ourselves. Nobody should be afraid to report violations to the city of New York. We are here to stand up for you, and we will find a way to reach you, even if you don't give us your name right away.
We will.
More questions?
Yes, please.
Okay. So,
how can you get mad about this? This is so stupid. Okay. And also, if you're going to get mad at anyone, get mad at this guy for not recognizing that his mouth is full and not vamping a little more. If that were me, if I were next to Mr. Smiles McGee myself, I would be like, oh, he's clearly chewing still. And then I would just start going into more of a spiel about this stuff. But yeah, this is silly. The president, and then John Marco Soresi says, the president is a rapist pedophile. That is true. That is true. Netanyahu has them tapes. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. This is one of the, complaints about the No Kings protest is they are not actually, it doesn't necessarily seem like they are for, or like they don't have any particular demands or whatever, except for Trump bad, right? Which is, a real critique, I think. But yeah, but also it is nice to have, anything doing any sort of organizing, I see it as like practice. Even if your demands aren't there, even if, like, you're not going as far as I think you should be, even if you're not antagonizing the police, right? Like, I don't know. I still think it's still good for people to be out there. Let's see what this is. Britain.
With workers in Lebanon,
Oh yeah.
workers in Iran, than they do with Keir Starmer, David Lammy.
Fuck Keir Starmer, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Every single one of those rotten, imperialist, capitalist politicians. Every single attack that Keir Starmer makes against Bangladeshis or any immigrants in this country.
Sorry, I always forget where my screen is.
Governments.
Okay, she seems rad. I like her. Keep going. Love it. Yeah, this is the same sort of what I already talked about it up there. This is a sentence from hell. I'll read this. Okay. Jake Tapper, like I'm serious, buckle up. This is a sentence from hell. Jake Tapper, ew, retweeting Jewish Insider, ew, citing David Frum, ew, asking Claude, ew, a question. This is the state of U.S. news media. Jake Tapper retweeting Jewish. One more time for we'll do it full speed. Jake Tapper retweeting Jewish Insider, citing David Frum, asking Claude a question. What a sentence, man. That sentence can go right to hell. Oh, Anna Kasparian. I never have. What is it? Feel free to continue lying publicly, though. Those checks don't cash. Okay. Sure, I might be untalented, up to others to decide. But I can deduce that voting no on legislation that would cut arms to Israel amounts to supporting. Okay. Yeah, you're the true leftist, Anna, sure. Yep. Oh god. There. Okay. I guess I have to fucking talk about this. It makes me really sad. Israel's parliament just passed a law imposing the death penalty for Palestinian detainees. Israel's security chief Ben Gvir gave it a toast afterward and said, "Soon we will count them one by one. These monsters are celebrating the execution of 10,000 Palestinians." Industrialized slaughter, everybody. This is going to lead to industrialized slaughter. They are going to create death camps. They are going to create concentration camps. I mean, it basically is what they have in their prison system right now. And they are going to systematically, one by one, murder every single Palestinian that they can find. This is the natural end state of this society. This is the face of the natural end state of this society. They are a primitive, barbaric, brutal people who deserve less than life. They deserve to be in hell for the rest of their lives. And if there is a God out there, they will be. The evil that exists in people like this is, it's something that makes me want to fucking go out there and start mowing these people down, because they fucking are some of the most evil people on the face of the planet. Let's see what else we got. Sorry, these are the types of things that usually I would scroll past really quick because I don't like, it makes me really sad and frustrated to read. But I feel obligated to some extent on my stream to cover even the worst, saddest parts of society. Even if it makes me sad. That's too long. I'm probably going to try and find a fun one, though. The next fun one I find, we're gonna, we'll probably call it after that. So what is this?
Oh, he likes this brush.
You do?
Under his chin. Nice.
Creed is a good name. He's loving that. This is the very peaceful, relaxing music that I'm hearing with this.
He's shedding.
Overly.
Dude, the pink nails are
Actually, go. Chat, can you see the pink on camera, chat?
It's a look.
Can you see it, chat? What's this? Hell yeah. That's like the tear gas and shit. Yeah, blow it back in their fucking faces. They deserve a lot worse than that. Love it. And with the No King yeah, okay, that's cool. See, this is the shit. This is the No King shit that I can get behind. Yeah, breaking down some barricades. Like I always say, property crime is not a crime if it's for a good cause. Oh my God. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. This has to be AI. This is the most insane thing I think I've seen in a while. Insane Donald Trump clip that I think I've seen in a while. Okay, we're gonna watch this one. If this one's good enough, guys, this might be it. I'm just letting you know ahead of time, okay? So let's see. Let's watch Donald Trump swing his big fat sword around. Maybe he'll cut off Melania's head or something. I don't know. We'll see. Oh God, I can't listen to it. It's... Oh God, he did the double jerk off dance. God. They suck. Who's this woke person up here and why is she touching our white supremacist king over here? That's not okay, people. That's not okay. Right? Am I right? Where are all my chuds at? That's not okay, right, chuds? Oh my God. This feels like AI, dude. Are we sure? Are we sure? That has to be AI. That has to be AI. He didn't actually do that, did he? God. How many cocks is he gonna jerk off in one dance, man? Okay, that was pretty good. I think we can do better, though. I think we can do better. Iranian hacker releases video FBI officer Kash Patel. Oh, not that. Wow. Wow. Look at Kash Patel. Man. If that's actually him, that's he looks so much happier back then, man. And he's got these dance moves too. This is crazy. Look at those hips. Those hips don't lie. Man. I'm telling you, man, these people, they could have been so different. They could have been so different if they just, well, I don't know about all of them belong to the same fraternity. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they just, if only they found happiness at some point. Oh God, another H3 post. Let's see how unhinged this shit is.
MSU newspaper, student newspaper, Jewish student groups deeply troubled by upcoming campus visit by Hassan Piker. Popular leftist commentator was stumped with Abdul El-Sayed's U.S. Senate campaign. A group representing Jewish students at Michigan State University.
Wait, sorry. This is reposted, I guess, by H3H3. It says, Hassan and his community have set up a paradoxical rule that makes it impossible for any Jewish person to be critical of him, and built-in mechanism to punish Jewish voices that speak. I don't know about that. Okay. How is this in any way paradoxical? Hillel, the specific Jewish student group being cited here, is one of the most rabidly Zionist orgs in the country. They're not even remotely shy about it.
Dude,
okay.
I'm sorry. Okay. I can't take this sincerely. I can't take this sincerely. It's just like whenever Israel feels threatened, they launch a multi-pronged approach. Okay? They launch a multi-pronged approach, and it's fucking utter nonsense. Okay? These fucking Jewish student groups are not doing this because they're like sincerely afraid.
some fear is valid and some fear isn't valid, man. If you are the colonial occupier, like for instance, if you are a white woman in the South during slavery, like your fears of black men, dude, those are not valid fears. Like, I'm sorry, they're not. You are the slave master. You are the colonizer. So your fears, like of the colonized people, are stupid because those fears are used to justify the system of apartheid that's set up. That's how it's always worked. You use your fear of the other and weaponize your fear of the other in order to justify the apartheid. And that's what these people at these Hillel groups do. So, yeah, it's just not a valid fear. I'm sorry. It just isn't. Okay, let's find something funny. I got to get out of here. I really got to pee. Oof. I already saw that. Sorry, people. I'm not going to watch it again. Even though it is fun. Okay, give me something fun. That's not fun. This could be fun. Let's see. Sorry, so this says, and we always take these things at their word, okay? We don't know for sure if this is the case, but I'm going to take them at their word. So, MAGA man dresses up as ICE agent to threaten citizens. They fought back, threw a bucket of water on him, yelling, "ICE is made of water." Then punches were thrown. Fair or foul? He was also carrying a Trump flag as he stormed around Waikiki, Hawaii. So yeah, we'll see. We'll be the judge of it, people. Okay, I'm seeing some problems here. There's an Israeli flag over here. I see a 2028. It looks like a Trump 2028 thing. This is confusing. Because, like, these people are clearly Trump fans, I think. Oh. Oh, he hit his buddy. Oh, God, okay, he might be fucking dead, dude. Okay, nope, he looks like he got up. He got up. Well, I don't really know. I don't really know. That was a very confusing video. That wasn't as fun as I was hoping. So I got to keep going, unfortunately. What do we got? What is this? That's an ad.
Is it true?
Can I ask you a question?
We don't know, do we?
Are Israel committing genocide? You're a puppet. You can't say what you want to say.
You don't want to think about what...
You're a puppet. That's enough said. You're a puppet. You're a puppet the same way you are for Savile. Puppet, mate.
Is it true?
A puppet, mate. I don't know who that is, but... Okay, I'll just see what this one is. Maybe this will be funny. Ooh, $6.99. It says no new wars, like no new wars. Oh man. Okay, come on, something funny, people. What? Lots of fighting going on lately. People are not okay. Oh my gosh, man. Give me something fun. Come on, people. Okay. That's a good one. Establishment Dems fighting Hassan Piker. Hard at work. Establishment Dems fighting Republicans. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, I'm looking for a video that would be a fun one. That's not fun. Uh. There's nothing. What's this one?
It just tilts me to no end when I see fucking... Dude, look.
This must
I'm
be
a
an old
first generation immigrant, okay? I was an anchor baby. I was born here so I could have citizenship. Okay. So when I see fucking immigrants and refugees and shit, like, advocate for reactionary politicians who would literally wipe them out. Like, it would...
Ah, this isn't gonna be fun. Sorry. Wow. Lindsey Graham, gay icon. Of course he'd love to go to Disney World, man. There's tons of queer people in Disney World, and he's going to be with his peeps. Okay, this could be funny. Let's see. POV, that one sausage you forget to flip. Let's see.
Oh, fuck, forgot the other one. Oh. Fuck, I burnt it.
I assume they were talking about skin color if I had to guess. What? Man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a hard time finding some fun stuff. Or some funny stuff. Why is my For You page just so sad? What did I do? How did I do this to myself? Okay, maybe this will be good. This will have to do it, people. This is the FBI headquarters. I don't know. I'm hoping that the background music is this unreleased diss track, so we'll see.
Epstein did kill himself. Wait, yes he did. Fuck. Well, you can trust me. Why would I lie you? After all, my girlfriend thinks I'm super hot and hung, and definitely really likes me.
Sipping on Donald Trump's tears. There he goes. Drip, drip, drip. Sipping on Donald Trump's tears.
What?
There he goes. Drip, drip, drip.
Is that real? That can't be real, right? His unreleased diss track. I don't think that that's real. We'll see. We'll end on this one. This is vids that go hard. This is probably gonna go hard. So this guy hit a spliff, chugged a beer, lit himself on fire, and flipped into a waterfall. Sure, why not, man? I don't think it's political in any way, but let's go ahead and let's go for it. I gotta get out of here. Whoa! Okay. Yeah, that did go pretty hard. I won't lie. That went pretty hard. Okay, people, that's it. That's what we're ending it on. I hope all of you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're watching the VOD, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Let's see. I'll be back tomorrow for more Technically Clay content for all of you weird ass politics nerds that somehow found my fucking channel. So, okay, yeah, cool. You know, have a good rest of your evening and morning tomorrow. And yeah, that's it. This has been Technically Clay. The stream is technically over. Bye-bye.